We've all asked the question, where are we going? And if you get the answer, wherever the car takes us, your very gut biome should tell you that person should not be behind the wheel. All right, that's like in olden times when you'd be like, hey, where are we going? Oh, wherever the crow flies. And you're going, what's a crow? And where, and, what? And is it going to flap its way to its nearest destination? And it's not like cruise control is doing anything. I recently found out, at best, that regulates speed. It does not help you go to where you're going. To help carbon date me, when I was young, I would watch somebody pull off to the side of the road, right? Because there was no way of direction. And they'd pull out a map, like a piece of paper with topography drawn on it, and utilizing the sun, the compass, and maybe there was like a goat drawn on like a mountain range. They would have to suss out, where are we going? Of course, they'd have me look for the goat, right? Because that's the only landmark you're getting. You're not getting anything fancy. You're getting a goat and maybe a ridge. You hope it's a ridge if somebody drew it right according to the square that they had to work with. You know, then you see people who are like sniffing a gator snout, and then through the osmosis of that can figure out, oh, what we need to do is go west. My brother once used his DNA and the forces of nature to figure out where we were going. You know, because sometimes they tell you, oh, well, if you have a sense of direction, you'll be okay. Oh, we were testing out that theory if we had a sense of direction by just going out into the, mean streets of a safe suburban area. I don't know why we got lost. We had no sense and no direction. But we're out there and we're lost. And he licks his finger, I don't know, to suss out his DNA, and then he forces it into the sky, hoping to communicate with the environment to figure out, oh, it's a left at that person's house. He knew where he was going. I'm over here going, don't do that because you're wasting fluids. Right? I'm over here rationing any bits of water material we had. I brought a lot of snacks on the journey. And at that point, I was dividing up crumbs. Because up until the point of realization that I put action to words, I was stress eating. Because in a situation, we were lost. And with no sense, you're lost. Because you try in those moments, usually we would have left clues or just gone somewhere we knew where we were. But, you want to leave like signs like, hey, this away, if you ever need to go back from whence you came. But we're trying to implement a lot of things. This tactic of leave no trace. So the things that we were leaving for clues, you needed the intellectual capacity to suss out the individual nature of our own minds of what we were trying to clue ourselves in, because they weren't straightforward messages. Like I had twisted a leaf, which was to tell me to double back and make a left. One leaf. I couldn't even find the leaf that I twisted. Or I was trying to carve something on a piece of bark, but then clearly I was like, this is not only leaving a trace and a mark. So it wound up being some ancient Sumerian text, which told me to just stop what I'm doing. Right? There was no directional clue. It was just, hey, this is not a good idea. Stop. Right? And so, but we eventually made it. The whole point for, you leaving no traces when we were out camping, right? And you want to clean the area and leave it better than when you came. And I'm telling you, they would inspect every morsel of the ground before we would even attempt to clean anything. They once had me unroll my sleeping bag. Do you know how difficult it is to roll not even just a sleeping bag? Let's take it 2 steps farther, folks. My tent, right? Because you trying to wrap a tent. When you buy a tent, it comes in a bag. You take it out of the bag, it does not go back in the bag. Doesn't matter which kind of physics you force upon it. You squeeze that thing so tight like you're trying to get money from it, okay? Because you're like, I paid for it to go back in I bought the bag. It should go back in the bag. They had me unroll the tent because they knew that I was probably stuffing crumbs in there or something. Then they would have us line up and walk the earth at a glacial pace. I'm telling you, if you walked too fast, they would suss out that clearly you weren't finding anything that needed to be found. And so they would pull you 30 yards back from whence you came and start again. Everybody. You don't want to be that guy. I'm telling you, they were looking for like a sneeze under a piece of bark. I mean, that's how thorough they were trying to be in the cleanliness of the campground, which, look, I'm all on board for. But at a certain point, there was a guy that went up in a tree and found a biodegradable sticker, right? He wasn't even nowhere near the planetary area that we were on at that point, our hands and knees with a toothbrush, combing pine cones for dust to clean. And he goes, oh, we got to start over here. I'm like, that's a mile. Where even are you? The only way out of a situation like that is if one of those like mythical beasts, one of them winged creatures of the night actually exists. And at that point, I wished it came in, swooped in with its talons, grabbed me like it was going to go feed its other mythical creatures, which I was going to be okay with because that would be the only way I was getting out of a situation like that. No one was coming to save me, okay? And I need one of the mythical creatures that's done it a few times, okay? You don't want to miss that train, okay? Like, it's like when I was a kid and trying to learn how to be a lifeguard for the first time, right? You never want to implement the skills you're being trained, but you also can't get better if nothing occurs. I'm telling you, I thought I was called into action one time. And, at first you're like, okay, you want to start running. And, running slow in real life is not a good idea. You ever see somebody running slow in real? It's not like on the screens with Baywatch. They can pull it off. You, it just not okay. Now, I was trying to move a lot faster in this situation. I even performed a great dolphin dive, right? I thought I was really swimming like a Hasselhoff. Turns out I was going nowhere fast. I had thought that I had done it in a blink of an eye because by the time I had put my head up from the water, people were cheering. Everybody was safe, right? Because it turns out somebody else had actually dove in and done the work, right? I had to say like, oh, I was caught in a hurricane. Right? You gotta oversell it, right? Because they're like, what happened to you? Oh, well, hurricane. I mean, more than likely it could have been a whirlpool or a tadpole just swimming in the opposite direction, blocking up my current. Because I thought I was moving and grooving. And I was going nowhere fast. Turned out I needed to be saved, right? Because I was like still at the dock. Maybe that's all that happened, right? I saw a tadpole, was like, ooh, shiny, fell in, and they just pulled me out and was like, there you go. You know, because I've been trying to implement some of these techniques. Like the leave no trace is perfect for when I'm late night snacking. And I don't want anybody to know that I'm eating said snacks. It doesn't matter what I do, folks. I will look up atop the fan. I even carved a hole into my wall to see if a Skittle had transmuted with the wall. I mean, I was searching everywhere. At this point, I just played dumb. Which, not hard to do, but, because I get caught red handed. I walk out and my girlfriend, love you, honey, she's sitting there. She goes, "Oh, did you enjoy the Skittles?" And I have to look at her like a deer in headlights. I go, "Skittles? Uh, no." And then you gotta double down, because you always double down. You go, "I don't even know what that is." And they're going, "Well, it was right here, clear as day. Like, how did you miss it? Like, if you, I don't know, a satellite from space could have seen where the Skittle was. I'm telling you what happened. I think it like fell into the crevice of a pocket, and as I stood up, it fell an opportunity to cliff dive right into Pandora's box, which was just waiting to be opened or just seen on the couch. And so, with that, I gotta save myself and get out of here. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, bye bye.